as I do every video. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Saturday. Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, Saturday early evening, Saturday just day. Nice weather here in Colorado today, so a lot of people feeling the parks out and about. Can't go anywhere without bumping into somebody though. So Denver's getting too crowded. I need to go somewhere a little bit more isolated. Anyways, funny, um, however you look at this, and what followed, like, just cracked me up even more so. About maybe, oh God, I don't even know how long ago it was. There'll be a timestamp on when I show what I'm talking about here, but I happen to uh, be, let's just say, at an event, and I was in a particular position where I had to, or not had to, but could allow someone an easier opportunity to get what they needed. And so that's exactly what I did. Lady comes up to me, nice as can be, just a total sweetheart. And, you know, working in the entertainment industry and all that, I remember the first time I was, interning and one of them saying, like, oh, you have to be a cutthroat to work in this industry. While some of that is kind of true, I mean, just take, for instance, Harvey Weinstein, that piece of shit. You know, cutthroats, fakes, assholes. Um, this was even something that was told to Brittany Murphy, rest in peace. And it blows my mind how shallow Hollywood has always been. But she was so adorable and clueless, but yet she was told, and I'm not going to say by who, because like I said, I know, hey, Harvey Weinstein got convicted. There's so much evidence that mounted up against him. You know, same thing with the guy who has a lot of evidence stacked up against him who harassed Brendan Fraser, but it didn't go as far as what, Harvey Weinstein was doing. So I don't know exactly who made the comment. Well, I know, but I'm not going to say who made the comment about Brittany Murphy while she was still alive. But after Clueless, in order for her career to continue to go on, they were looking at her for other roles because she did such a fabulous job in Clueless. I mean, come on, what what guy can't even find enjoyment out of that? I mean, it's funny. It has at the time, you know, at the time it had jokes that just were over in my head, and now that I see it as an adult, I'm like, oh, that shit's even more hilarious. Like when the girl gets a nose job and she's like, "Oh, my doctor said I cannot have any balls flying towards my face, or whatever." And Stacy Dash is like, "Oh, well, I guess there goes your weekend plans." As a kid, I did not totally didn't catch that. As an adult, I'm like, yeah, this is a genuine laugh. I'm like, that's funny as shit. Um, but anyways, so I'm in this position. Lady comes up to me, sweet as can be. I help her out. And she's like, "Oh, thank you so much. I'll give you a picture of me and Jennifer Love Hewitt and Jamie Kennedy." And I'm like, where the fuck does that come from? Like, that's what I'm saying in my head. I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, "Yeah, I had Thanksgiving with, with the both of them and this and that." So at this point, I'm just thinking, I mean, yes, I'm wrapped up in the entertainment industry and a lot of people can embellish a lot of shit, but I'm just like, okay, that was kind of interesting. Excuse me. So she gets finished, and as I'm sitting there thinking, what person my age do I know of that did not have a crush on Jennifer Love Hewitt at one point or another during early, mid, late to early 2000s? late 90s, mid 90s, all the way up to Ghost Whisperer. Um, Unfortunately, she got that label of, the queen of canceled, TV series. But I always thought she was such a great actress. But probably, did I finish off my Brittany Murphy story? Because I think this is what helped Jennifer Love Hewitt and didn't help Brittany Murphy. If I didn't finish off my Brittany Murphy story, I'll go ahead and just flat out say what she was told. And this is corroborated by a lot of people. But they said in order for her to continue on working in Hollywood, she needs to be more fuckable. That's the kind of shit that you deal with when you're dealing with the entertainment industry. So when I was first told that you have to be a cutthroat, I'm like, no, you get by this being nice, I bet. No, you really can't. You can get by with it with your soul still intact and not say fucked up shit like that. But, there's just some people that you just gotta, be direct with. And sometimes direct is harsh and might hurt somebody's feelings. And for her to be told that at such a young age, when she's already a beautiful young woman, is just totally beyond fucked up. I mean, what does that do for your mental health? What does that do for, your outlook around about the people you're around? How does that, blind you going forward? And, look, the guy that she was with, yes, he was a fucking scumbag. But if he wasn't the type of scumbag that he ended up becoming, I would have no problem seeing such a beautiful woman like her dating a guy like that, because you don't know what he could offer. Now, as time had gone on, it just proved that he was nothing but a liar and a piece of shit. And if you watch a documentary about her on HBO, it'd be great to see. But again, this isn't about Brittany Murphy. I'm just using it as an example of how fake and how, just how Hollywood and the entertainment industry as a whole can be. So when this lady tells me, oh, I'll give you a picture of Jennifer Love Hewitt and Jamie Kennedy, I'm kind of like, what the fuck is this lady talking about? So when she said that, I'm like, if you could cut out Jamie Kennedy, I'd be completely fine with that. I'm like, I don't know how the hell a dude like her gets with a chick like her. I'm like, she's been my biggest movie crush for as long as I could remember. She is so damn hot, and mind you, I'm going off probably for like 10 minutes, and the whole time this lady's standing there laughing her ass off, and I'm like, Jamie Kennedy's so fucking ugly. I mean, he just looks all awkward. I mean, he's done, one movie where he was funny in Malibu's Most Wanted, and did 2 scenes in Jay and Silent Bob, with Chris Rock acting as a director, as a stagehand, or an assistant to the director. And other than that, there isn't really shit that he's done that has been memorable. As far as I know, I mean, I'm not a big fan after after all this, but I mean, I'm just ripping this dude every which way, and this lady is just laughing her ass off. And so she tells me, she's like, oh, well, hold on, I'll be back. So she hands me this picture. Sure enough, she's in it. I'm thinking I'll Photoshop or whatever. And she's like, doesn't she look so beautiful? And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just even more gorgeous. Because that is my crush. I had 2 huge crushes in the entertainment industry. Vanessa Carlton. Yes, the girl who sings 1,000 Miles and Ordinary Day. I just thought she was amazingly gorgeous. That's my opinion. But I remember thinking, like, okay, here I am, new in the industry. We were both born in 1980. I hope to God I run into her. We were at an event that she was there, and I was way too much of a chicken shit to even approach her within like 100 feet. And I had seen her, and she looked really pleasant and nice. But in person, she was like drop dead gorgeous, and I'm like, I'm too much of a wussy to go and freaking even say hi and introduce myself. And Jennifer Love Hewitt, which I never ran into, which I never seen in person, but she pulls out the picture, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she looks even more beautiful, blah blah blah. And she's like, don't you notice? And I'm like, what? So I'm looking at the picture. She's like, that's my brother. And I'm like, no way. And so at the event we're at, she has her tag on, and sure enough, her last name's Kennedy. Now, Kennedy's a popular last name, but when you look at them side by side, oh my God, you can tell that they are immediate family in an instant. And I'm like, I am so sorry. Oh, like how I am right now. I'm like, you, you know, she's just, it's okay. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm like, I would never be so disrespectful, you know, unless I knew that somebody had a close bond with him or something. I'm like, those are just my opinions, but I wouldn't have let them be known like that. And she's like, you are fucking funny. And she's just laughing her ass off the whole time. Not one bit of hatred, not one bit of, you know, who the hell do you think you are talking about my brother? Not anything of the remote. She is just like, you are so freaking funny. She's like, no, she's a very beautiful and pleasant young lady. And, you know, they came down and had Thanksgiving and this and that. And I'm just like, the whole time, I'm just like so embarrassed. Like, oh my God. Um, so obviously, he catches wind of this. And this wasn't right away. And what he said would immediately take back my apology to her. Even though it didn't bother her any, and even though she was just laughing her ass off, I mean, that's her brother. And if somebody was, I mean, I could see if somebody was talking shit about my brother and they just were doing it in the way that I was doing it, I wouldn't be pissed at them. Now, if they were like, oh, if I see that asshole, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Yeah, then we're talking about something completely different. But I wasn't saying anything like that. I wasn't saying, like, oh, I hope he gets hurt or, you know, I'd beat the shit out of him or never said anything like that. Ever. I was just referring to the fact that I'm like, you know, yeah, he's kind of funny, but, you know, I can't see why he would be in Hollywood, you know. He's not going to get cast in any more movies. I mean, you know, Hollywood or Malibu's Most Wanted or whatever, you know, that's his prime movie right there, you know. And again, she's laughing her ass off. But like I said, when I got this, I completely like was like, all right, let's get the celebrity boxing match going because I'm completely down. I'm not a celebrity yet. I'm barely doing my first movie this summer. Doesn't make me a celebrity, just means I'm doing my first movie, so I'll be on IMDb. But doesn't mean I'm a star. Doesn't mean that I, you know, have the following that he does. But I would have never reached out to somebody and said exactly this. So there's me and his official page. He gets 3 replies. I don't know if he had his comments turned off or not. I had 4 replies. Now, 99% of the people that I remember that night were really not all. I mean, he's a bona fide celebrity here, and you only get 3 likes in a matter of 20 hours. It was kind of like you would think like a swarm of people would be like, oh yeah, Jeremy, go fuck him up, or yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. You know, I don't really care if you use this word at all. I mean, that's how, you know, we're close to the same age. I look just younger than him. I'm 42. He's probably, I think, what, closer to 50 maybe. I think, I don't know, 45, 46. If you've seen him lately, he looks aged. Um, so I had screenshotted it and I attached this and I sent it to him and he didn't have shit else to say after that. And I think it was because he didn't have anybody really saying like, "Oh, you know, yeah, I'll go kick his ass for you, this or that." But I thought it was the funniest shit in the world that it got back to him, and when it was just so what are the odds that you would actually you're not looking out for, but like George Clooney has a sister. A lot of these celebrities have spouses, and you don't know that their spouse is at this place or that place, and you start just like ripping on them, and then they're just laughing up a storm, this and that, and then all of a sudden this happens. What would you actually do? I mean, all I could do was just apologize and just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." But that all went away when he started talking shit. And since then, haven't heard anything. If he hears this, Jamie, if you hear this, because I know you have your podcast, you're a fucking comedian. Learn how to take a goddamn joke. Because one, I wasn't being serious. And two, I know I'm a lot bigger than you as far as height and athletically wise. So if you want somebody to fight, pick a fight with somebody else because you know what? I'm not saying I'd kick your ass. I'm not a fighter. I de escalate shit. I do not want to be in a position to be, boxing because I've been in boxing classes. I've done jujitsu, taekwondo, all this other types of fighting. When my big old roly poly fat ass playing football started losing weight. Not saying that I'm a fucking good fighter because my first two, three bouts in Golden Gloves, I got my ass knocked out in the first round, but I learned a little bit after that. So you would probably be very disappointed because I wouldn't fight you. But I'm just saying, learn how to take a fucking joke because that's what comedy is, right? That's what you based your career off of was comedy is making people laugh. And what's better than making people laugh? I mean, love. And when you're in love, you make your significant other laugh. And here you are going after me because I said something that I had no idea that she was, your sister. And said the things that I did because yes, there's one thing I was guilty of was I was player hating. Dude, you're already made a direct point, something that I would have never been able to do. You got one of the most wanted girls or young women, almost every teen's crush during the 90s. I give you nothing but props. So, like I said, after I'm done filming, if we ever happen to run into one another, I doubt you'll ever remember this. I'll come up to you and I will give you a straight up apology and remind you of this. And I will give you props. And if you swing on me, that's fine. I'm not going to swing back. But I meant it all out of the simple fact that I cannot believe that he pulled off Jennifer Love Hewitt. I said it more out of like, God damn it, like, yeah, of course, who wouldn't be jealous? Dude, you got one of the most hottest chicks ever at that time. I mean, that's props that I'm giving you. And maybe I didn't word it like that, but that's how I meant it. So, I'm looking at this as a few other people in the entertainment industry that I'm maybe starting a podcast with. And I definitely want to get you on and confront you about this because, like I said, I never wanted it to go to the point to where somebody's talking shit about me. I really don't care if people talk shit about me, famous or not. But like I said, I'm not gonna fight somebody over something so menial, and I'm not gonna be hyperbolic over, a comment either, because it was just all in fun, laughing our asses off, doing what you do for a living, or used to, and that's make people laugh. So if you want an apology right here and now, you're not gonna get it, but if I see you in person or if I have you on my podcast, I will give you a straight up apology. So that is That is it. My Jamie Kennedy story, and you can see how, like how red I'm getting in the face because it was that freaking funny. Oh my goodness. So I'm hoping he would hear this message because I never meant it out of disrespect, but